Hello, guys. This is our first episode of our podcast. My name is Andrew Prozrovsky,
My name is Akarsh Funkhalapati.
and we are. What are we talking about today,
Well,
Akarsh?
we're first the Brussian experience. You forgot to say that to begin
Oh,
with.
that's right. The name of our podcast is the Brussian Experience.
Why it
which-
matters? I mean, it's the first episode. I don't think anybody really cares. We don't have a fan base, but
Right, but also the name of our podcast is somewhat of an inside joke.
it's an inside joke because Andy's. We just call Andy Russian because he looks
Heritage.
and I'm Indian, so I'm brown. He's Russian. That's how
The Russian Experience. I guess
If this
wasn't
goes
that hard
on
to
longer and
explain.
longer, I mean, the whole story can get
told at one point.
but, yeah.
Anyway, so what are we talking about today?
First topic we're gonna talk about is Andy and I watched
Hereditary.
Hereditary.
God,
Sorry,
you can't get that name right.
I can't get it right. We watched Hereditary
Right.
about 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago,
Yeah, something like that.
and we both have conflicting opinions on it.
We can
We
both
both liked
we
the
both
movie.
agree that we liked the
We both
movie.
agree that we liked, but Andy liked it more than I did, and
That's fair,
and basically the topic for debate is Hereditary a horror masterpiece.
Ooh, yes.
So why don't you go first because
Okay.
you liked it more than I did.
So, okay, so Hereditary. So why you're asking me why I liked it?
Why did you like it?
Okay, so good.
'Cause I think we liked it for two different reasons.
Yeah, that's true. So I will first and foremost say this: I'm a little biased because the
You like
producer.
A24.
I love A24 films. They have released at least three like well-known ones in the past 3 years or so. The Witch was the first one. Me and my brother both watched that. Also had somewhat of a spoiler. Also had somewhat of a cultish aspect. But my dad, and my mom, they did not like the movie. Me and my brother loved it though. So when Hereditary was coming out, my brother was like, "Hey, you need to go see this film." Either way, and we're about to see the third A24 horror film
Yeah.
tonight. We're gonna watch that one later. However, so why did I like this film? One thing that I very much appreciated, and I made sure to tell everybody this, is that again I feel like every horror film generally focuses on like a certain particular type of scare.
Yeah. Okay.
In that like again like I referenced Sinister if you're like wanting to get a lot of jump scares, or maybe I don't know. There's a lot of like horror films you can point to that's just like all jump scares.
Like Paranormal Activity.
Yeah. Okay. They're Paranormal Activity.
Activity,
Perfect
yeah.
example. If you look at The Strangers, that I would almost categorize like they don't really have. There's one jump scare in that movie. I think there's like a lot more like suspense. Like you just like see something in the background and it's like just like boiling up. You know, the music slowly rising. So there's like suspense. Babadook is the example I always go to for like psychological
Okay.
horror. This movie
Is Babadook good? Because I wanted to watch it, but I don't know if like it's actually like.
again, it really depends on if you like that sort of psychological horror. Because my mom and my sister, they loved that movie because that's their type of horror. I thought it was incredibly boring.
Okay.
Yes.
So like, if you would say psychological horror, what other movie would you think about?
The only if you ever okay,
Like Shutter Island, like
that's
not
like
really,
it's like a thriller,
that's a
but
thriller,
it's psychological. I would say another good psychological film that I can think about is Shining. That's a good example.
But I hated The Shining.
You didn't like The Shining? What the hell?
I didn't hate The Shining.
Okay, I was gonna say
I didn't hate The Shining.
the whole horror
I
film
think-
community is gonna turn against you on
I
that one.
think Shining's overrated.
Okay, well,
That's a topic for another day.
yeah, that's a different thing.
I also
But
haven't seen The Shining in like
there's this one movie.
5 years. So if I rewatch and I like it, I'll change my mind.
There's this one movie
I'm
called.
not like Steven Crowder. I will actually change my mind.
There's this one. there's this one. Horror film. It's really crappy and like that. It's super cheesy, but I thought it was actually pretty scary. It's called Grave Encounters. It used to be on Netflix, but it got taken down because it's just so
all
unpopular.
these movies all this stuff are getting taken off from Netflix. Right?
I know. Hulu, man, Hulu.
I mean, I got that
I know.
Hulu from
Yeah.
Spotify, so I don't really care about that.
No, but okay. So then there was Grave Encounters was one of the things that I thought was scary about it. And spoilers for those of you who haven't seen it and want to see it. This group of people they go and they decide to spend the night in a mental asylum and they're gonna film and they're gonna lock themselves in. Like very cheesy premise at the start. But while there's like a lot of jump scares and stuff, one of the things that I thought was really scary is when they try to escape. They realize they can't. Like when they enter, it says on the door, like you won't come out of. There's some writing on the door, right? And so they lock themselves in. And then they kind of set up base in the lobby. And when they're ready to leave, they break open that chain and leave. And as they open, it's just more hallway. And on the front of that door, it still has that writing. And they run up and try to see the roof, and it's like they have stairs leading up to where the roof door would be, and they have the exit sign, but it's just like a flat wall. I would consider that sort of aspect like psychological horror. Those things were kind of scary to me just because I was like, no escape. That frightened me. But I really liked that this movie had a lot of like psychological elements to it. In that,
you're talking about Hereditary.
Yes, Hereditary. Now I'm talking about, and I'm going to be vague here, but the premise of this movie, I mean, the family's already kind of like disturbed
The thing
from the
is, if
beginning.
you talk about the
Right.
premise of Hereditary, you kind of you're really gonna be really close to giving it away.
I know, but
I feel
I'm being vague here. Just hear me out here. If I say someone bad, we'll cut it out. It's very easy in Audacity. But no, what I was going to say was, in this movie, the family, it's not like a normal horror film in that most normal horror films, if it's about a family, they'll like show you like, oh, they're making pancakes in the morning, like everything's so happy, the guy is like so in love with his wife,
It was
stuff like that. This
like,
movie,
like how they showed in the trailers, like in like the first 10 seconds of the trailer, like "Hi, honey," and they
yeah,
make out in
exactly.
the kitchen, and then the fucking meteor
Yeah,
comes
exactly,
out
of
of
course.
nowhere.
But
Yeah.
in this film, they show you like the family's already like tense from the beginning. There's already like messed up feelings about each other and stuff. Um, and so all I was gonna say is, I mean, definitely you see that like strain of like family connection throughout the movie. There's very good acting because of it. You and I would agree. But I love that they have that psychological element, but it's not all that it is. They have jump scares for sure.
Yeah, but those jump scares are like there were jump scares where I felt like okay, it was like kind of warranted. Like I wasn't there was like I didn't have a problem with jump scares in this movie. I usually have a
Okay.
problem like in other movies when they have a jump scare, like what's the fucking like the gifts. I watched that the other day,
Okay.
and like the jump scares in that movie, like they're like because you go into the movie thinking it's a horror movie, so
Right.
you know like you already know there's gonna be a jump scare.
Yeah.
So like these jump scares, I'm like I feel like they were kind of warranted. So like,
Mhm.
but they're like very few. There's like two in the whole movie. Was there like two jump scares? Would you say
I would say there's more than that.
more?
Yeah, I would. I would say there's a good number of jump scares. I mean,
Yeah, there was two that got
it
to
wasn't-
me. There's two that got to
okay,
me.
that's fine.
Okay.
They didn't center around jump scares
Yeah,
like some
okay,
movies,
yeah, okay.
but they had jump scares in it for sure. And then they also had, the suspense. It was a very slow burn. Normally the A24 produced horror films, they are a slow burn where it's like it's not that scary, it's boiling up, and
Yeah,
it just
'cause
gets
that's
like,
what
a little scary
That's
progressively.
what like.
I like that. I appreciate that. Like I appreciate that. That in most horror films, I feel like it's like first act very bland, second act oh it's a little spooky, and then third act's like boom, there's everything happening. These types of movies, they like tend to just slowly get worse and worse.
And that's where I think why the audience score goes down, and you say critical score goes higher, because when an audience goes into a horror movie, they want to get scared throughout the whole thing. Well, if you watch like an A24 movie like Hereditary, you only really get scared in the final 20 minutes of the movie. You would say.
I feel like that's an exact contradiction of my point. My point was that this movie.
No, because the audience hated this movie. If you look
The
online,
audience didn't hate this movie.
it's a bland score on Rotten Tomatoes for the audience.
Let me check. But and yeah, I'll check. I wouldn't say
And that
hated. But,
they didn't hate it, but they didn't like the movie.
I will say this though.
It is like a D on Cinema Score, I think. Because that's Cinema Score is just pure
Yeah.
audience reaction.
Okay, but all I'll say this is with regards to horror films, I feel like that's an exact contradiction to my point. When I say slow burn, I mean that it gets progressively scarier. Like they don't.
But this was a very slow burn. This Hereditary,
I felt like
I did not feel scared until like the final act of the movie.
that's not a slow burn. That's just like it's just like slow, and then it has a crazy third act. And I feel like that's most horror movies. I feel like did you ever go see Annabelle 2?
I didn't see Annabelle.
Okay,
I only watched Conjuring.
I saw
only
Annabelle
watched
2,
Conjuring.
and sure, there's horror throughout the whole movie as one does, but like again, I felt like it was stereotypical in that it's like first act like not scary, second act a little bit, and then third act they hit you with everything. Hereditary, I felt like, and this is one of the things that my brother said to get me to go see this movie was that it like over the course of it, it just gets scarier and scarier and scarier, and I thought like it was evenly, it just
Okay.
ramped up pretty evenly throughout the thing. but okay, so diversity of scares. Also, I do have to say, I thought the writing, I thought the writing was fantastic. A24 horror films.
A24 movies in general are very well written
I
movies.
would make the argument that the reason that the audience scores are low and the critic scores are high is because the audience goes to see a horror film in which they get cheap thrills. You know what I mean? Like where
Hmm.
it's like a roller coaster or it's just like an amusement park ride where they get all these scares.
Yeah,
Um,
audience score 59% on Rotten Tomatoes.
but but I would argue that the critics like it because it's not like a traditional horror film in that the writing's not crappy and
That's where
lazy.
I'm
You know
with
what I mean?
you. That's where I'm with you.
Um, and yeah, I'm glad we can agree. And when I first talked to my brother, he told me that that his girlfriend Hannah, she was she didn't like the movie, and I asked her about it, and she just shook her head at me. So I thought she did, but I saw them yesterday, and I actually asked them about the movie, and I guess maybe I just didn't understand what shaking her head meant because she loved the movie, and she agreed with me. She thought it was scary, she thought it was well written, and she thought like it was unlike it stood out in the horror genre, is what she believed. I don't know. I rarely see well written horror movies, so I appreciate that. And I also will say, with regards to the horror genre, um, I feel like audience members, fans of this genre, typically go for like cheap thrills, kind of like I said. I would compare it to like an amusement ride. They want to get scared. They don't really care about the writing. So I would argue that maybe that's why they gave it a
Did
bad.
Conjuring have good writing? I don't remember if it did. I
Um,
haven't watched Conjuring in a while. I
I
remember I
oh,
liked it at the time.
I haven't seen Conjuring in a while. I just remember thinking it wasn't that scary
I thought it was
until
scary. I thought it was
maybe
scary.
the final few scenes. But even then,
No,
the late.
but I feel like Conjuring the horror was spread throughout. That's why I liked Conjuring. Like if I wanted to see a stereotypical horror movie,
I don't care about
I
I don't care about spoiling The Conjuring here because
I don't even
yeah,
remember. I don't
people
even remember what happened.
and people
It's been out for 5 years.
yeah, it's
You
been
can
out for 5 years. It's fair game. But the one scene that I remember getting me in The Conjuring, again, I will admit that the third act was intense. I don't know if I would say it was like super scary. They had jump scares, I remember. But I would say I remember the one scene in Conjuring that I legitimately gasped at was, do you remember when she's hanging up the
you told me,
laundry on the
yeah,
clothesline?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it forms the figure for like a brief second. I gasped just
Oh, I
because
remember that scene now.
I
Yeah, I remember that
gasped
scene.
just because it was like
It came.
most
Yeah.
of them like you said, most horror movies give away when a scare is about to happen. They like
The
set you
music,
up
the
for it.
music,
You know what I mean?
it
The
goes
music, whatever.
quiet,
But
and then
it's just
it's
like
a failed jump scare,
yeah, exactly.
and then it just comes. Yeah,
They
that
cut to a random scene, where it's just like, oh, it's middle of daytime, it's a little windy, she's hanging up clothes, and then all of a sudden that happens, and it was like, I just didn't expect it, which is what I appreciated. But no, Conjuring was not necessarily my favorite jump scare. I'd also argue, and I'll add this, a fourth category of sort of like scariness, and I'm doing air quotes here, is that is like gore, because some horror movies
yeah,
are
like
just
with
pure
Texas
gore.
Chainsaw, like
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And I would argue that this movie had gore too. Um,
yeah. The
yeah.
final act has gore.
Well,
Yeah.
even earlier than that, I mean,
Uh,
there's
uh
a
actually,
oh
no, no, gore
yeah,
is spread
gore is
throughout.
pretty yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
gore is spread
But I
throughout.
would say I also really
Technically, the movie's
yeah,
technically centered around gore, if you think about it.
I know one of the first things that Amy, who's my girlfriend, she said to me was she said, "Oh, be careful, it's gory." But
Because like, if you just think about like, you can finish. I'll talk
yeah,
about why I like the
no,
movie.
what I was gonna say though was probably my final thing that I really liked about this movie was so again I thought it was scary. I mean obviously people can disagree with me here, but I thought it was scary. There were plenty of scenes that got to me and stuck in my head. I thought it was pretty evenly. It got scarier and scarier throughout. Acting was good, writing was good, but I also really admired that they pushed the envelope in that they really were like disturbing. And I'm not talking about like
Yeah.
Sinister.
Okay, they
I'm
were
not
just
talking
yeah.
about like
Okay,
Sinister where
okay.
they're going to show you films or like videos of families getting murdered. That's disturbing in that you're just like I'm uncomfortable and I don't know what purpose this normally serves the movie. This was like disturbing in that, and again I'll be vague, but like there were scenes in that we could both agree that was just like wow, like that was uncomfortable to watch that
What
scene go on.
Which scene were you talking about?
Hold on, I'll pause it so I can tell you. Okay, so I told them about this scene, and you do remember now.
Yeah, I remember now.
There are
Okay.
some uncomfortable scenes in that movie,
There are yeah.
and
Okay.
some really disturbing scenes. But I feel like that's what makes it good is that like they really push the envelope on some of that stuff that it's stuck in my head for sure.
So would you say it's a horror masterpiece?
Um, like okay, again, masterpiece is so hard to categorize, especially because there's no like
Or is
gold.
it up there?
I feel like there's no gold standard for horror, right? Because if you ask some people about horror
It,
masterpiece, they'd
it's the
say
Exorcist.
Shining.
It's the Exorcist.
Oh, okay, Exorcist.
It's
Yeah,
the
that's a good
Exorcist.
example too. I would say they'd say Shining generally is one. Um, but
Is it up
Shining,
there? Because
Shining's
you like The Shining a lot.
I love
You
Shining,
love The Shining. It's one of
but
your favorite
not for
movies.
the same reasons. I
Okay.
love The
Okay.
Shining because I think it's well written as a Stephen
I
King
mean,
original. Yeah, of course.
it's Stanley Kubrick,
Um,
so like
but
directed.
right, right. But then it's but Shining is also like it has some scares. It has a lot of weirdness to it. It's well written. But I wouldn't like say like, oh, it was like scary in the way that Hereditary was a horror. They're like different subgenres of horror almost. What I say is horror. I would say it was one of the finest horror films that I have seen I would at least say in modern history.
Modern history is what you're saying after 21st century.
Given the genre.
What's your definition of modern though?
Um,
Because technically,
okay, so
film's a modern genre, like
so
modern mass.
obviously I go on Reddit a lot, and I read plenty of Reddit reviews of this movie, and there was somebody who just made a point about like we've lost, we've forgotten what horror means or what the genre means in saying that it's like every time you see a horror film in theaters, unless it's something like Quiet Place or something that really kind of stands out
I didn't watch Quiet
as
Place,
unique.
yeah,
Okay, well, unless the premise is unique, you know that you're going in for the exact same cliche.
So I don't
plot
go watch
twists,
horror movies,
right?
right? Yeah.
The exact same lazy writing, and then cheap thrills and cheap, jump scares. And the movie did not fault in like that. It still, I would say, fit into modern horror. Like you still went in. You saw a family, and then you got the same like jump scares and things that you would get, kind of like in Insidious. You would get like the same jump scares, and you get the same suspense and things like that. But the writing was so good, and they made the movie so special in certain aspects that I would say that for sure, as horror movies come in this day and age, just because of how the audience demands that horror is these days, I would say for sure stood out to me as a great movie.
Is your house on fire? Like what the fuck?
Maybe, yeah. 1 second. Sorry, smoke alarm. Okay, so
Yeah.
my house is not on fire, by the way, just so you guys know.
I don't think they really care.
Okay, so again, yeah, my final fleeting thought on it was, and
It was one of the you say it was one of the best modern.
horror movies, yes.
If it's
I
modern,
would say I went into the theater having certain expectations, and my expectations were relatively high because people had told me it was really scary and I should go see it. And I thought, in terms of like how much I was scared, I thought that it was scarier than the movie that I had previously said made me most scared, which was Sinister. I would say I thought it was one of the scariest movies that I had seen ever. And I would say it was well written and stuff like that. That I think that yes, it was a very good movie, and I feel like the critics who are harsh, like my sister.
Wait, your sister a critic though?
Oh, sorry, not a critic. Okay. The audience. Sorry, that's what I meant. Audience members who are harsh on it, like my sister, who was, not all there while she was seeing the movie, according to my brother. Tired and maybe had a little bit to drink, but audience members who are a little tough on the movie, I think that maybe they didn't kind of do the research you and I did to figure out what happened during the movie, and they were just like, well, I'm confused and I'm not really gonna try and quell that confusion, so I'm just like gonna say I'm pissed off and I didn't like the movie. So I feel like people who were critical generally maybe didn't fully grasp the movie. So that'd be my thought. All
So Andy basically said what I wanted to talk about with the writing. So I felt that this was just a well-made movie. I didn't think it was a great horror movie.
Yeah.
I just thought it was just a good movie and like a great movie.
Right.
Like if I was to give it a score, I'd say like 8.6 out of 10. It's like a very good score.
Right.
Like
Okay.
a very passable, very good score.
I would.
I felt the writing was incredible.
Yeah.
I thought the direction was incredible. The acting was incredible.
The way the directing was really good. I would say that too.
The movie just well made.
Yeah.
Especially
Your
with the budget.
issue was the ending, right?
My
The
issue
1.4 was the ending.
I hated the ending.
Okay.
I hated the ending. The final 10 minutes, and I watched. If you want to see a good review on this movie, watch Penguin Zio, Critical Charlie, whatever the hell you call him. His moist meter on
Oh man.
It's good on Hereditary. I think he does a very good job speaking.
Wait 1 second. Go ahead.
All right, so I mean Andy cut me off, but basically,
Sorry.
if you want a good good review on it. Check out Critical's Charlie's review. I think Moist Meter Hereditary. He hits on all the points that I would say I agree on.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is the very ending of the movie and how it's over explained. I did not like how they were over explaining the ending.
You're right, and
the premise of the ending was fine.
Because we talked a little bit about this, and you said that you didn't like the over explanation because you thought that again they hinted at like sort of what the ending would be enough through the movie. And in all fairness, I agreed with you there. When you proposed what you thought the ending should have been, it
was a while ago.
It was a while ago, but I remember I agreed with you, and I said, yeah, the ending should have been like that, which it was close to what it was.
I mean, like
it was the same idea.
It was the same idea. Like I like where it was going.
Should have been different a little bit. That's how you felt. But I would say this also with regards to how scary the movie was. Again, I thought that because the scares were diverse and because I was jumping a lot, I thought it was very, very scary. Akarsh, you said maybe not so, but again, that's somewhat of a matter of opinion, kind of.
Okay, so this is what I said. I texted Andy.
Wait. Are you gonna give things away? I thought we were trying to be relatively spoiler-free.
Never mind. Yeah, I can't say it, but it's just basically.
You and I agreed.
It's less. It's not explicit. It's the same ending, but it's not as explicit.
It's like almost like they should have cut it off 2 minutes earlier.
Yeah, not that. Because there's a woman in the end speaking at the end.
Right, yeah.
That's not going to give everything. She's going to be speaking, and she's going to explain basically what they're hinting at in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And the reason why this movie was scary for me, I wasn't that scared when I watched the movie. I was scared after I watched the movie. When I read the was it a Wired article?
It was a Vulture article.
Vulture article that they did an interview with Ari Aster. Yeah. Is that the guy's name? Ari Aster?
Yeah. Ari Aster.
They did an interview with him about why the movie is scary and basically explaining the hints of that. That's what made the movie scary for me. That's the only reason I will say it is not a horror masterpiece is that I had to get the movie the movie had to be explained
but again,
why it was scary.
Okay, so two things is one I was going to say I was scared during the movie. So and again, this is a matter of opinion, but if you haven't seen this movie and you're thinking about it, and a car,
no, you definitely go see the movie.
Well, I know, but if you haven't seen this movie and you want something that's scary and you're thinking about it, I would say take my word over Akarsh's that because I was jumping during the movie, I thought it was scary. However, okay, so you said you didn't like that you had to have the movie explained by the director, and I get why.
And that could be either just like I was like out of it that day, or that it's just well written. I
feel like it was well written because I feel like if the director can tell me, okay, you just watched this whole movie, and we were dropping all of these hints along the way, and
I feel like
here's all the stuff that you missed. I feel like that's a good movie because it makes me feel stupid, and I'm like, I should have.
I can get that, but it's like a masterpiece is a movie that you do not have to be explained to you by the director, and you can get the subtle hints along the way, and it's still a masterpiece. Like my definition of a masterpiece is The Dark Knight.
That's fine.
That's my definition of masterpiece. That is the best movie I've ever seen. My favorite movie is the best one I've ever seen.
It's a very good movie, Dark Knight. I love it. Which I've heard so many critics on the Dark Knight. It pissed me off. I think great movie. I was going to ask you, if you were to compare it to one movie, what would you compare it to?
Hereditary?
Yeah. Because when my dad asked me if he should see it, I said, well, Dad, what's your favorite horror movie? And he said, I really like Rosemary's Baby. And I said, you would love this movie then. Because that's the movie that I feel like, that's what I also think is really nice. I feel like it does like a modern take, and it does a modern take on certain horror classics.
It blends different genres. This is what I like about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You get a lot of, you get gore, you get psychological horror, you get jump scares. I mean, you get a lot of stuff.
They don't really sacrifice. They don't really sacrifice the writing or the acting for it being scary.
Religious aspects as well.
Even if you didn't think it was like the scariest movie you've ever seen, then you still can agree that it wasn't like oh, it was so unscary. I would
No. I'm just saying the movie became scary because the director made it scary.
What would be the scariest movie you've ever seen? Because honestly, I would
before say this.
What would be the scariest?
I don't watch that many horror movies.
Oh, okay.
But if I would say maybe The Conjuring.
Okay. Yeah, Conjuring. Maybe I just haven't seen that movie in a while.
I have to rewatch Conjuring.
But I didn't remember it being that scary.
I mean, I watched it when I was like 13.
I did
watched it when I was
remember
like
watching Annabelle 2, and I thought Annabelle 2 was scary, but the reason I was upset, and I'm not talking about how great Annabelle 2 was because they 100% sacrificed the writing and the acting and everything.
just for
It
cheap
made
scares?
everything
For cheap-
cliche just for
cheap
cheap scares.
scare, okay.
And that was just frustrating because I was like, give me a movie. Don't just give me, something popping up on screen every other scene. But no, I do. Have you ever seen The Witch? You haven't seen The Witch?
No, I haven't seen The Witch.
You should watch it. I thought that was a good. Do you know what it's about even?
No, I don't want to. Another reason why I like this movie is
Yeah.
also because I had no idea what the fuck this movie was about when I go into
Oh,
it.
okay, okay. Oh, I
Annie
see, I
knew
see.
more than I did.
Okay.
So I had actually really low expectations of this movie, and it like exceeded my
Yeah.
expectations.
And I would say it even exceeded my expectations.
And I felt like it could have been. You would have liked this movie a lot more if you didn't know what this movie was about.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I
Because
will
this is
say,
the first movie in a while where I had no idea what this movie was about.
I didn't know A24 produced the film until.
No, I knew A24 produced the film.
I didn't know that they produced the film until after I'd seen it, and
It says in the movie A24 produced.
I know, but I wasn't. I don't like pay attention to that at least. But as soon as I figured it out, I was totally not surprised because, I mean, again, the only A24 horror films that I've seen thus far is The Witch and Hereditary, and we're gonna watch It Comes at Night tonight, right?
Yeah.
But they have a very distinct feel to them. Like, I like it very much. It is kind of the slow burn feel, but it's like something about the way that they direct or something about the way that they just make the movie. You will recognize, you'll see that after we watch the film tonight, you will see that like A24 horror films they have a general feel to it, and I really like it, but some people don't.
I
Some
think
people really
A24 is actually just killing it in the game in terms of movie producing
Yeah.
in general. Because they did Disaster Artist.
don't. Oh, they did, yeah. Sorry.
I hated Moonlight, but they did Moonlight. But
Hold on. I had a list of movies that they had,
because A24
Done.
recently
They did a lot
have
of
done a
movies
lot of
recently, yeah.
good movies.
and good for them, good for them.
Like they're like niche. No, Blumhouse did Get Out.
Yeah.
Blumhouse
I would
did Get
agree
Out.
though that they are very like, and again, English speakers tend to really disagree on how this word is pronounced, but I would agree that it's very like it's for niche fans.
Niche.
I mean, some people say niche. I've heard niche so many times.
I mean,
I don't know. It's a
pronunciation.
word.
It's a
Either way, you know how it's spelled. Niche.
See what is it? What have they done? That's recently.
But I would say you're right. It's definitely for like niche horror film.
Oh, they did Eighth
or
Grade.
form-
Eighth Grade Apprentice is a good movie.
Oh, really?
It just came out.
Oh, okay,
Apprentice is
cool.
really good.
Well, yeah, but of course we will
Oh, they
deliberate
did. I
after
hated
we-
Lady Bird.
Oh, I loved Lady Bird.
Oh, that's a different story.
But you're right. That was A24. Yeah, no, I loved Lady Bird. Not my best picture pick, but it was. I loved Lady Bird. I thought most of the movies for best picture this year were really good.
I actually hated the fucking movies. The best picture this year.
Really?
I only like Dunkirk.
You only like Dunkirk?
Like
Wow.
if I was to
There was a lot of people who said the inverse. They liked everyone except for Dunkirk. I felt like, and maybe our predisposition is just to like Dunkirk.
okay, I didn't
'cause we're
hate.
Nolan
I didn't
fans-
hate
fans.
every movie.
Come on, you like Three Billboards? Didn't
Okay,
you?
but I felt that okay, that was my pick to win Best Picture, but I wasn't like I wasn't fully supporting that pick.
Okay.
If I was to fully support a pick, I'd say Dunkirk.
Really? I would have said
Three Billboards was good.
Three Billboards.
I just look if none of the movies that were Best Picture this year were above a 9 for me, except for Dunkirk, and that's sad because Best Picture movies should be above 9s.
Why did you? What did you not like about Three Billboards?
No, I liked the movie. It was
Well, I know, okay, but why did you give it only 9?
because the second half it fell off. Second half, the first half was really good.
I agree that it was
It fell off
that there was- I
completely
agree-
the second half.
I would not say that. I would say you're right in expecting a long movie, but
No, the length has nothing to do with it. I just felt like it just fell off.
really,
Yeah, that movie just fell off the second
I would
half.
I
When
would starkly disagree.
yeah, it's been a year. I don't know. Should I spoil it?
No, I would not. But
Okay.
I would say
When something happens to some character, that's the moment it falls off. And you know what I'm talking about.
I do, but I would also say that I thought it was really, really good. I thought is
Is it above a 9?
yes, for me, 100%.
Okay.
However, and I thought that was the obvious pick for Best Picture.
No, this is what it was.
No.
So I do a lot of research on Oscars because I'm really into that. It was the pick going into the SAG Awards,
Right.
and then after the SAG Awards, it switched to Shape of Water, because that's when Me Too came out.
Yeah,
No,
right,
actually,
of course.
it was when, not really Me Too. This was it was
Immigration stuff.
not yeah, it was about when immigration basically get more discrimination
Yeah.
stuff, and that's where Shape of Water
Right, right.
hit more
I
at
thought, I thought, I thought that.
the people who felt marginalized.
But okay, but again, politics aside, and I do want to still talk about the Oscars for a moment because I want to say that. Um, when I meant to say by Three Billboards being the obvious choice, because it wasn't my favorite as a bunch. Knowing, like
You like Darkest Hour the most, right?
Dark Tower and The Post were
Oh, the
most
Post, yeah,
were most my
you're the
taste,
Post, yeah.
and thus those I saw The Post twice. I saw Dark Tower
Post
twice.
I
also.
liked when I watched it, but Post gave a really bad aftertaste for me. The more I thought about the Post, the more I hated.
Those were my favorite by a long shot. The only reason I say Three Billboards was
Is Dunkirk not up there for you?
Like I said, I liked all of the Best Picture films this year. Dunkirk would probably have been there was 9 of them, right? Yeah, so I would say it was probably like sixth.
Sixth.
I think the only things that
you liked Phantom Thread too. I didn't watch. That's the only one.
Phantom Thread.
That's the only one I
The
didn't
only
watch.
thing that I would say was probably worse, even though they were good. I would say Call Me by Your Name was probably last, and then Shape of Water was also kind of meh, even though I liked it a lot. Again, when I say meh, I mean
See, Shape of Water, I give an A. I would give it an A, just a flat out A.
Yeah.
It was a good movie. It could have been better. I mean, I wasn't mad that it won Best Picture, but but they were better films. I would.
No,
feel.
yeah, I would have said probably Dunkirk 6th. And I would probably said Three Billboards 3rd. The only reason that I say that Three Billboards was the obvious pick was because if you looked at all the audience's picks, the most people picked Three Billboards. Most people liked Three Billboards best out of the.
No, but that was audience too. But the critics thought Three Billboards was gonna win for 3/4 of the race. But that final fourth,
I know,
going into final voting, that's when Three Billboards fell off.
I'm still so. I mean, no, I know. I'm just saying. I'm only making this point.
And that's what happened. Like I can't.
I'm only making this point because I'm like, collectively, the hive mind said Three Billboards wasn't my pick. Again, I liked 2 of them better.
It was
than
my
that,
pick. It was my pick.
But it was.
What was your pick?
My pick? Oh god.
If you were to put money on it, not what you thought was the best movie.
Then I would say Three Billboards.
Okay.
Although it's so weird to discern these from one another because we both knew Shape of Water would win.
I didn't know.
You didn't know?
No, I was told Shape of Water. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it.
By the day that
that's when everyone started to put in for Shape of Water.
You're also being just like screaming in your mic a tad, just so you know, volume control.
Okay.
But I would say the day that the Oscars, well, even a few days before, I knew that they said the one that's going to win the most. Actually, when I saw Shape of Water, they said this is the one that's going to win the most Oscars.
I always heard it was a tie. It was a tie
really?
head-to-head going in. But
either way.
but Three Billboards was about to.
So I knew
was just edged a little.
So
bit.
essentially, because I've made a bunch of points that may have seemed like they contradicted each other, I knew that Shape of Water would win. I knew that the audience was going to be outraged by that because they thought Three Billboards was
didn't really
the
care.
best.
They didn't care. I don't think they care that much.
The audience seemed to heavily favor Three
No,
Billboards.
I think they didn't care that Shape of Water won.
Oh, well, I'm just saying there was a lot of people who said that they thought Three Billboards was a lot
mad.
better.
I wasn't mad because last year the year before I was mad.
Right.
I hate Moonlight.
Okay, but
that's just what I hate it because of what I want in a movie.
Right.
I thought La La Land was the best movie that year.
Yeah, I agree. I thought La La Land was better than us too. However, this was the first year that I saw all of the Oscar Best Picture movies.
This is the 3rd year.
Okay.
This is my 3rd year.
This is the first year I'd seen all the Oscars Best Picture movies.
I didn't watch Phantom Thread. Majority, I would say majority.
Right. Okay.
Because Phantom Thread came out too late, so I didn't have time to watch it.
But I thought that, I thought that Shape of Water. I knew that one was going to win. That one, maybe Get Out, I thought would maybe upset it.
But Get Out and Dunkirk had the best upset odds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But then I knew that the audience preferred Three Billboards most. And
I think the audience preferred Get Out the most.
Oh, Get Out also the audience really liked. But Get Out had come out such a long time ago. It was a little tough.
Yeah.
If
Get Out came out closer to the Oscars in November,
it would have swept.
There's a statistic where, your move
swept. Sorry, used the wrong person.
I think it was there's only been like I can count the number of times a movie that has been nominated for Best Picture on my hands.
Yeah.
That is before September.
Oh, okay.
It's August or September around there.
And they did, and Get Out did win
Get
best
Out
adapted
that
screenplay.
the
Or
no
no,
original
sorry, original.
original
Excuse me.
screenplay.
Yeah.
That was my pick to win original screenplay.
But either way, yeah. So as I would say again, and
Okay, well, okay.
wait,
After
wait.
this point, we'll go back to
I
Hereditary.
know, I
'Cause
know, I know. But again, yeah, again, I know we digressed, but I still want to make my point on this. Yeah, I thought that audience preferred, yeah, Get Out, but they also preferred Three Billboards like heavily. Critics, I knew they were going to go with Shape of Water. My personal pick was The Post or was Dark Tower. Those were my favorite of the bunch. But I know, and I know you want to go back, and but I still cannot. I want to hear now. What, God.
Why did I
Maybe
hate
we
Lady
need.
Bird?
Oh, no, no, oh, not Lady Bird, because
Okay.
Lady Bird was very hit or miss for everybody. Everybody I know either loved Lady Bird or either hated it.
Okay.
But no, no, no. I wanted to know, and also, I feel like I would agree also that Lady Bird feels like an A24 film. It's like it's like
they have a feel.
they have
to
like an indie feel.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah,
They have
like
an
an
indie feel.
That's what I'm saying.
They have an indie feel.
But no, no, no. But and again, we'll have this conversation afterwards. But I want to know why you thought that the second half of it derailed, because you have to admit.
I haven't watched it in a while. I don't even
Okay,
remember.
well, there
why.
was a lot of like symbolism in it that a lot of people. Plus,
No, I got all that stuff. I
the
just felt
ending,
like
yeah,
the pace changed.
my mom actually like she was like, oh, like 3/4 of the movie through, she was like, this is how I want it to end, and it ended exactly like she wanted it to. So she was very happy about that. I no, I thought
didn't.
I thought
The ending
movie,
was the ending was okay.
I thought the movie was very good and very consistent. I thought what was so unique about that movie was that they basically it feels like it's not even like it's not like what do you call it when we learn about exactly how every story is supposed to, oh, hero's journey, right?
Hero's Journey. Yeah.
They did not follow that at all. It was just like it was like there was a lot of mountains and valleys kind of in the plot line. They essentially just give you like, here's 2.5 hours of what's happening in this one town in Missouri, and you're just gonna like see the lives of the characters in this town, uh, and that's kind of it. And the ending, makes you feel a little unresolved because you're kind of having to, and the beginning feels somewhat in the middle of nothing because they make you figure things out. But no, I admired that the film was like so unique, and I understand why the audience liked it a lot. It was Amy's pick. She loved it more than any of them by a lot.
That was
Although
her personal pick too.
her personal pick too. Her personal second pick was Phantom Thread, and her third was Get Out, I believe.
Okay.
But she didn't see all of them. She didn't see all of them, but she really liked Phantom Thread, just like I liked Phantom Thread. Okay, so anyway, back to Hereditary.
Well, I want to give my personal pick.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So
It's fine.
personal pick was Dunkirk, best movie of the year.
Right.
The more I think about Dunkirk, the more I like it. That's
Oh,
what I
okay.
like about a movie. If you could think more about it, and the more you like
My
it,
parents hated Dunkirk, which
I
is
love
crazy.
Dunkirk.
I know.
love Dunkirk.
That was very
I
good.
love everything Christopher Nolan makes.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying.
I love
We're
it.
very biased because Christopher Nolan's. We just said we made our love for Dark Knight earlier.
I love Christopher Nolan. Second best. The second best movie of last year wasn't even
You liked
Was it-
Florida Project or something?
No,
What
I
was
was
it?
I was Logan. I felt
Oh,
no.
Logan.
Florida Project
Wow.
should have gotten nominated. That movie got snubbed. That was actually
I heard
a very
it.
good movie.
I did not see it, but I
That
heard
was
it
a
got
very
snubbed.
good movie.
Oh, and I heard I, Tanya, also got snubbed.
No, I think I Tanya got what I got. It wasn't.
really?
It wasn't a best picture.
Allison
movie,
Janney won, and
but she won
best supporting actress. Right, that's right.
I don't think it won anything else.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Well,
And then personal pick would be Dunkirk. The money I'd put on would be Three Billboards, and the best upset odds I would say would have been Get Out.
right? Yeah, I am. No, it was the first time I'd seen all 9, and I was very glad I did. I didn't think that I would have the stamina
If
to
you
watch 9 movies in like a
Trust
week.
me, 2016 was a better year to watch all 9, not this year.
I really liked the movies this
I
year.
hated
And if you say that, I mean, I know that you and I have distinctly different movie tastes, but if you say that, that makes me excited for the future because I don't know, all the movies.
I'm concerned about the future, to be honest.
Oh, really? I felt like all the movies were very different from one another. I thought they were all written very well. Acting. Was good.
Of
I was
course
like,
they're all
wow.
different. They picked 9
Right,
of them.
I know, but they're different. And I don't know. I thought they were all really good. I thought that they were some of the best movies I'd seen in a long while.
2016 had better movies, but that we'll talk
What
about
movies
later.
have I ever heard people talk
For
about?
2016?
2016. That's La La Land.
That's La La
Moonlight
Land.
year.
La La Land.
Okay, because I heard people say, "Oh, didn't like Fences, didn't
Okay,
like Manchester
let
by
me.
the Sea."
Oh, Manchester by the Sea was a good movie. Don't even.
Really?
It was a really good movie.
Okay, maybe I need to
Manchester
see
by the
it.
Sea is a good movie. Lion, I'm Indian something.
Okay,
Lion, I loved.
yeah.
Uh, La La Land, I loved.
Like I loved La La Land, but I think that's the
Fences
only
was
one I saw.
okay. Fences was okay.
Yeah, I heard it was bad.
I mean, it's you take what you can want with that
What
movie.
else did they have in that year?
Moonlight, I hate Moonlight.
Well,
So
I
I want to look it up now. I
I'm
don't.
excited for the
I
future
thought they
because
were going on a really good direction with 2016 and they blew it.
that's weird. I don't
Okay,
know.
go back to Hereditary where I looked
I
it up.
disagree.
Go back to
Yeah.
Hereditary.
Okay, so then, well, you're
It's
the
my
one.
it's
Yeah,
my
I was gonna say.
opinion. Okay,
So
so I would say the movie. Why I don't even remember why. What I liked with the movie basically
we are at 40 minutes, by the way. So
that's
just so you know, time wise.
that's fine.
Yeah, I know. Just keep going.
Um, I would say the Hacksaw Ridge. I didn't
Oh,
watch. I didn't watch that movie. That was the only one.
sorry, he was good.
That was the only one I didn't watch. Oh, Arrival was good. I liked Arrival.
Oh, actually, I did see Arrival,
Arrival was good.
but
I didn't watch Hell or High Water.
I
Though.
feel like if I were to compare Arrival, okay, if I were to compare La La Land to the Best Picture choices this year, I would definitely say La La Land was better than some of the ones this year.
Would
Uh,
have still won.
what?
Would have still won Best Picture if it was this
Oh, if it
year's
was
class.
this year? Oh God. Um,
I would have said it would have won. Yeah,
I would have said it
would
deserved it. I would have said it just because it was like such a crowd pleaser. Um, although Arrival, no, I would not have. I liked Arrival a lot, but
I wouldn't win.
I would have put it on the. I know, but I would have put it on the
The
bottom.
it was
If it was this year, I still would have put it on the
yeah, I
bottom.
would have too.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I mean, I thought Arrival was the middle of the pack of the.
And
of
that's
the Best
weird for
Picture.
me because I love like linguistical stuff, and that obviously had a big like connection to like
Yeah, but
linguistic studies, and I
hate
thought that was
Amy
great.
Adams, so, like,
What?
I hate
Oh,
Amy
you don't like Amy Adams. Okay, so anyway, Hereditary.
Okay.
And sorry for digressing so much, but Oscars were a very interesting debate that we had also.
Okay.
So.
I don't know. You should like give a, edit in like if you want to skip all the Oscar bullshit, go to
Oh
go to
yeah,
this
something like
time
that.
for yeah.
You're
give
right.
it, I don't know, like some annotation or something. Okay. Um. So, because the movie had to be explained to me, why it was scary, that's the reason I say it is not a horror masterpiece.
Okay.
It could still
But
be.
you said it was good.
It was still a good movie. 8.6 is a good movie.
It's so weird that we have like.
We like it for different reasons.
Well, no, but it's so weird. Just even after like talking about the Oscars, I feel like a listener to this would think it was weird because you're like much more picky about movies than I. I feel like
I am.
the majority that
so
I
you
you're a
look
movie
at it.
snob.
You look
You're a
at
movie
it. You
snob.
look at it more like an audience. I look at it more like a critic.
You're a snob.
Shut the fuck up. But would you agree? You would side more with an audience pick. That was your whole debate with if you watched the Oscar part of it.
I don't know.
I side more with the critics. That's just how I critique
critics
movies.
in that you're and
I
that you,
critique
like,
whenever
feel
I
like
watch
you
it.
look for the bad things. In
I do.
movies. Okay. Yeah.
I when I look for a movie, I look for bad stuff, and if I can't find bad stuff, then that means it's a great movie.
Yeah, I tend to be optimistic about movies, especially because I don't want to admit that I lost 2 hours of my life watching a movie that I say very quickly that I did not like.
Well, that's good because then you get your barometer of what you like and what are good movies for you, what are bad movies for you.
I'm not saying that I don't.
Because you always have to watch a bad movie to watch a good movie.
I'm not saying that I never admit it. I'm just if you go to the theaters with me, I will never ever walk out of a theater and say, "Wow, that movie sucked." It'll take.
I did that for Star Wars: Last Jedi.
Okay, well, I know. Well, I said when we walked out of that, I was like, I didn't have very many good things to say about it, but I was like, great movie. And
for Star Wars: Last Jedi.
It took me about a week before I was like, that movie was awful. Not that I wasn't thinking.
Last Jedi.
Yeah. Not that I wasn't thinking that when I left theaters, but it's just like I hate to admit right out of the door that I wasted like 2.5 hours of my life and like $10
said
or $12
when I got up, I said this was the worst movie of the series.
That's easy. Yeah, bad.
Phantom Menace at least is like funny.
like
It's
Phantom
fun. It's
Menace.
fun. First of all, we grew up with the prequels.
For
the prequels.
Yeah, we grew up with the prequels. That's true.
I still think the originals are better.
What
What's my top three?
Well, just no, your top one. Just give me your top one.
Oh, it's Empire.
Really? My top one, maybe.
Is it Revenge of the Sith?
Because
that's my third.
Right?
That's third for me. Yes, episode three.
Yes, that is my favorite. Mainly because again, I'm in the political scene, and they deal with a lot of like politics in that movie, which is very good. I like it a lot.
If I do top three, it's Empire, then New Hope, then it would be Revenge of the Sith.
Okay. I think mine would be Revenge of the Sith.
Because Revenge of the Sith had the best visuals. It had the best fighting scenes. Because the scene with them and Mustafar, Mustafar with Anakin and Obi-Wan had great memes and was so fucking good.
Yeah, it was really
That was a great...
Yeah, I agree. No, yeah, okay.
And the prequels are just funny to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
a menace for sure.
The children, like 10 years from now, like they're gonna be like this. There's no fucking memes from this shit.
But the point that we were making was we said that
if you go down the movie,
the seventh one was the worst.
Seventh one was the worst.
Or
no, eighth.
Eighth one. Yeah, I didn't like the seventh one very much either.
I didn't like that one either. But that's middle pack. That's more middle pack one.
That said,
it was better, but it wasn't like. I still didn't like.
I want to see the ninth one. And I want to see.
I want to finish. I just want to finish.
I just want to finish.
I just want to finish.
Although I liked Rogue One.
I liked Rogue One too.
It's not like I hate all the new ones in the series.
Rogue One I would say would be around par with like Return of the Jedi.
I know. I thought it was very good.
I thought Rogue One was a great. I watched it 3 times.
But generally, I don't like to admit that I don't like movies right out of the gate. It takes me a few days before I'm willing to say that movie. But you know, I'm always honest with myself about it. It just takes me time. But why did I mention that?
Something about Hereditary. You went out of the gate saying this was a good movie.
No, it wasn't about Hereditary. It was about because you said Return. Hold on, we're gonna pause this. Try and figure out where we are. How I like it from an audience point of view, or you said that's what you said at least.
Yeah. Okay.
Which again, I don't know if I agree. I'm just I unpaused it. Yeah, sorry. Right. I am way more optimistic going into movies, and you can be a lot more.
I'd be more pessimistic.
Yeah. Which makes this an interesting team to talk about movies together. But okay, so Hereditary, that was a good movie. We don't think it was a horror masterpiece. I don't agree with you necessarily that it had to be explained, but
I did. Okay.
Because they didn't make it a movie for dumbasses.
Okay, they didn't make it a movie. I'm saying the reason it was scary.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay,
because I had to get it explained.
But you said it wouldn't be a horror masterpiece because you had to explain.
Because I had the horror aspect of it had to be explained to me. If the writing itself was brilliant, I feel like this should be a contender for original screenplay this year.
Yeah,
I think it's a good contender.
Yeah.
I don't know. Toni Collette's performance, that was brilliant.
Oh god, she was so good. I know she was so good.
At it.
And the guy, I forget who's the boy who plays Peter. Do you know the actor's name?
Is Peter the kid?
He's Peter's kid.
I have no idea what the fuck.
Either way, he was a good actor too.
I don't think he's not on that not
yeah,
like that
but
level.
I agree that Toni Collette played she was the best.
Yeah, she was the best.
Yeah. So good talk on movies. And
that we're ending it.
I mean, we're at 48 minutes.
Okay, I mean Yeah, I mean, just closing remarks. You want to go closing remarks?
Yeah, what do you want to say?
Okay. So
watch this movie or don't watch this movie.
Oh, you watch? Yeah.
Yeah, watch this movie.
Want to do a Louder with Crowder? 2 thumbs up. What's your rating system?
With Crowder, God. 2 thumbs up.
What do you? I do it in terms of 10.
Oh, in terms
of 10 with decimals.
Okay, so you said 9.
I give 8.6. 8.6.
Oh, 8.6.
I give 8.6.
Right. Again, my 50% of the movies that I watch are going to be an 8 or higher probably, but
I mean, you have a different rating system.
Yeah,
like, how do you rate movies when you watch them?
No, I mean no. Yeah, I don't know. I feel what Teddy Roosevelt once said, comparison is the thief of joy, but
just fucking rate it.
I would give it for the genre or overall.
And a movie in general.
Movie in general. I thought
I only rate movies in movie in general.
Okay, I like horror movies.
Actually, false. That's false. Comedy I rate differently.
Okay.
Everything but comedy I rate differently.
I like horror movies again. So it differs on a person's taste, an individual's taste. But
actually, everything but comedy I rate the same. I would say that. Sorry.
Boy, I would give it probably a 9 or 9.1, 9.2.
Okay.
Because I thought it was good.
Is it a Best Picture worthy movie? You think it won't get nominated? We know that.
Oh, it won't get nominated.
It won't nominated. Would you like to see it in? I would like to see it. This is a movie I would like to see in Best Picture because it's a very indie film. It's a Sundance movie.
If the movies are bad this year, the ones that get nominated for Best Picture, I'll be like, I have no idea why Hereditary.
Because it's also we're in award season yet.
Wait, what? You're right. We're not in award season.
The better movies will come out September.
Yeah.
September onwards.
Yeah.
So for the first half of the year, I would say this is probably one of the best movies.
Yeah.
I would
I
say
liked you. Did you like Incredibles too? I liked
I love
Incredibles too.
Incredibles 2.
You did see it, right? When did you
I
see
saw
it?
it last week.
Oh, it was really good,
It was
wasn't it?
really good.
Okay, that's another topic though. Shit.
It was really good. The top 3 movies in no particular order are Hereditary, Incredibles 2, and Deadpool 2.
I would agree with you there. I would also think that's like a young person's taste in movies
Yeah.
generally, but I would definitely agree with you.
Deadpool
Yeah.
2, it was not as good story wise as Deadpool 1.
It was
'Cause
just
Deadpool
funny though.
it was just it was just funny.
Yeah, it was very funny.
Like I've only laughed out loud like 2
I
times
got
in
a
a movie.
Deadpool pillow for
Deadpool
my
2 and Borat are the only movies where I constantly laugh at the
Yeah.
jokes in the movie.
Yeah, no, for sure. So this has been the Brussian experience with Andrew Pizarowski and
And Akarsh V.
V. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please visit us next week to have the next episode. Bye.